There, hello, welcome back to Sheepy Hollow. We're getting all prettied up here. There's the little woman and the mess. I gotta burn it all. That's my job. Right now, we're gonna go over the hill, take a little peekaboo. We've been busy up here cleaning that mess up, and we're getting her. I was gonna light the fire, but I think I'm going to give up on that damn thing for a bit. Okay, let's get in here and we'll go for a spin over the hill. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, nice and warm. The wife had the Jeep. Turn that down. Oh, that's cold. There we go. She's a cool one out there right now. She's 2 degrees, which is about 34 degrees, 35 degrees Fahrenheit. We're expecting rain and snow tonight. So that's not going to be pleasant at all. Actually. No news on whether we're going to get this property or not next door. That would be awesome. Then there'd be only one more piece of property we'd have to get. And we'd have 300 acres. Then maybe we could start looking at some kind of a development here. I don't think we're looking at much in the way of livestock or anything, but we'll see what the future might bring. Chainsaw's not working very good. I mean, it worked, but I noticed there's a smell of gasoline a bit in the garage, and it's smoking a little bit. When I was using it to cut up in the woods there. Gonna have to come in here and cut all this down too. See if we can get these trees to start growing again. Some apples. That'll help with the deer. I'm gonna have to take a walk over in there someday. Oh, there we go. There's just no sweet spot for this thing. Hang on. Alright, let's continue. Wow. Gonna have to start making the road over this way a little bit. If this fella's going to be hanging down here, we want to make sure that he can maximize how much hay he pulls off of it. This is pretty country. Haven't seen much in the way of rabbit sign around. We do have, well, actually we don't have any rabbits here. We have a thing called a hare. And if you're going to look it up, It's H-A-R-E. So we're not exactly sure what the difference is. I know out west they've got a thing called jackrabbit, and that's a big friggin' pretty big sized rabbit actually. Oh well. Be careful, like driving too far over to the side here and end up getting a sharp stick through the tire. That'll be a humdinger. She'll howl over that. Yes, sir. Boys must have gone in. Oh, there they are. If they're not sitting on the knoll there, they're sitting on the knoll on the right. They're watching. My side is hurting again. This freaking lugging. Picking up this heavy stuff is hard on it. Oh well, do it again tomorrow. So we're hoping that my son can pick up that piece of property on the left of us. There's enough lumber in there, and there's some other programs available to get some money from the government. And there's another field over there, but it's not a very big. You have to look at Google Map. Which reminds me, welcome to the new subscriber, or subscribers. We now have 320 subscribers. We got a ways to go yet, but they say Rome wasn't built in a day. Yesterday, I was asked to participate in a YouTube creators survey, and I think it's in competition with Facebook, but it's hard to say what would happen to YouTube if Facebook started pushing more of this creator thing. Would they be in jeopardy? I don't know. I noticed too that with the latest change, the tags aren't on the main page anymore. Somebody stuffed them onto another page you got to click on to get into. And it would sure be nice if those tags that we have, you could put it in one place for your YouTube videos, and it would just carry on. So it would always be the same to the next one. So you don't have to. You only have to enter it in once, and every time you make a new video, the tags would carry over. And if you didn't want one of the tags in there, you could delete it. Because some of you guys must be wondering, how come it always says at the end of the description of the video, remote property in New Brunswick, Canada, something to that effect. And what that is, I entered it in somewhere in the beginning, and it's there all the time now. So whatever I write, I usually change the R to a small r for remote, and just string it along with whatever I said in the beginning. I know, it don't really matter. So I discovered yesterday when we were looking at the other property, you can go to, I don't know if it'll work outside of New Brunswick, but you can go to geonb.ca, I believe it is, and you can zoom in on different properties to see how much taxes they're paying. And the property next to me is $78 a year because it's not developed. So if you don't put a dwelling on it, then the taxes stay very low. But as soon as you develop it, it goes up to, well, depending upon the kind of building you put on it, 500, 1,000, 2,000, and on up, depending upon the value that they place on the property. It's like these people that win $1 million property, and they put it in a location, and wouldn't you know it, they can't afford the maybe $8,000 a year on taxes so that they can stay there. Most of them don't even make $4,000 a month that gets a ticket. I got to laugh at when I worked out west, we had a guy that he was my head plant operator, and he wanted to buy a Lincoln Continental. That was back in I would say early 80s. Anyway, he goes and buys a used one, and him and his family go on vacation, and they went to a place called Regina, Saskatchewan. He bought a ticket to win a Lincoln Continental. Anyway, he comes home, buys his Lincoln Continental, and a few weeks after he bought it, he gets a notification that he won a brand new one. So, as the story goes, they were only going to offer him $25,000 for this big fancy car that could have been worth maybe back then $50,000, $60,000. So he said, what the hell with that? I'm going to bring it home. So for a while there, they had two brand new Lincoln Continentals. Well, pretty new one of them was. Lincoln Continentals. That was kind of comical, actually. That's the story on that. Not much going on these days down here. Kind of quiet. Ooh. I did help Mom, so that gives me a chance to come down here and check things out. Now, the map. On the left is the Big Beaver Dam. And with this GONB I was talking about earlier, you can click on these different layers that you can add to the general map. And what you find out is that where the wetland is in this case, or where the waterways are. And to the left of us, at the bottom of our hill, there's a creek, I guess you would call it. It flows year-round, and it's called the North Forks. And it ends up dumping into the Keswick River, and that goes into St. John River out to the Bay of Fundy in the ocean. So anyway, our property, I'd always thought it was the driest piece of property here, but there's wetland right where that Big Beaver Dam is. And it's part of the old Beaver Dam that was on the property below us, see to the left, which the North Forks ties into. I just thought that was kind of neat. So I would say about 5 acres of the property next to us is a wetland. And we've got maybe 3 or 4 acres of a wetland. We got a hello to the new subscriber from Japan, and we have a new person from India that's watching the videos. Yeah. Just when you think you thought, or just when you thought you seen the house, it's not there. Whoosh. Yeah, we got Rain and snow warnings coming tonight. And we got 8 degrees tomorrow. So that means the wife will chase me out to work on that patch of bush up at the road. Well, and I don't know if we'll have a video tomorrow. I got a virtual doctor's appointment. Well, it's kind of neat that we don't have to run into the city. I don't have to pay for the damn parking. That's my biggest burn. If you go to the hospital, you got to pay for parking, even if you're a patient. They even make the employees pay. I really don't like that. And they pay something like $60 a month. I'm not sure what exactly, but it's pretty high. And you have to have a permit to be able to park in there. And that tells me if you have to have a permit, you shouldn't have to pay for the parking. Because you're the only ones that can go in there. And instead of making multiple levels of parking and a larger area for people that have some sorts of disabilities like myself, if I'm not lucky, I can't get close. I gotta walk quite a ways, and that's hard. But that's just the way it is. Before I had this problem, I didn't mind parking. I'd park anywhere because it didn't seem like it was all that far to me to walk a long distance to get into the, like if it was like the grocery store. I'd get out, park halfway in the big parking lot. It was always empty. Nobody would scratch it because nobody was near there. Everybody's got to park up in the front. Phew. I'm pretty sure this year or last year at this time, but I couldn't come down here anymore because we already had a foot of snow. And right now the ground's not even frozen. That's usually as hard as concrete at this time of year. Pretty thick in there. Years ago, when the whites first came to North America, or the Europeans will say, because they probably weren't all white, the thickness of this bush must have been pretty hard to go exploring, because you'd have to hack your way through most of this. That's why the natives all had used the waterways, like used canoes to get around. I don't know how many trails they would have through the woods. I got lots of white birch, gray birch. I should start learning what the trees are. I can identify a few of them. Ah. Yeah. Get a raging big fire down here. I need to up my skill level here on making fires outside. It won't be long. She'll be frozen here. Now, there's a ribbon there. I wonder what the hell that's for. Whoosh! Every day about this time, I get all the yawns. Now these partridge probably sleep up in the trees every night. It's my guess. Like a roosting chicken. And I did watch a pretty neat video on this guy's chicken coop. It sure made a lot of sense. If you keep the roost flat and the roosting boxes with a bit of a roof on it, you can put so the chickens can't stay up there. It keeps the mess all in the one spot, and it's easy to clean it out. You just open up a side door and shove it out back into a cart or something, and you can use it for compost. If I ever get around to building one, I'm really tempted to do it that way. And this feller had a mix of chicken types, or he had the same kind, I think, but some were used for eggs and others were used for meat. I think it'd be neat to have some chickens here. But we only pay $2.50 for eggs, a dozen eggs, down the road. And I'm not sure how much people are paying for eggs in the city. And I'm not sure how many eggs we go through, being that I'm not the cook. I can see the dogs onto the right of the house up there on the knoll. They have dug about 15, 20 holes up at the top there where they're laying. And I tell you, it really hurts my side when I'm not paying attention. And you take the lawnmower over it, it's just like hitting a pothole out in the road. No, cruise control doesn't work this slow. When we used to go hunting out west, all my trucks had a manual choke. So you could pull the choke out a little bit and you could get the truck to just cruise along about this speed. Then you could look around while you're moving. It was nice. So today I started out cleaning up the deck up where my wife is building the flowers. I cleaned all that off where the Christmas decorations leftovers were. Dumped that off in the fire pit. Took a big box from the basement and threw that out by the fire pit. Took the compost stuff and the pumpkins up that were in the wagon in the pails. Dumped them in the potato patch. And who knows what's going to eat in there. Lots of jobs today. So that's why I decided to take the camera with me and head up over the hill, because it's 4 o'clock now, and if I didn't go, we'd have no movie today. Watch, look at this. Lovable dogs. Unfortunately, if they get out, it takes a long time for them to come home, and we sure wouldn't want to see one get lost. foot on the accelerator, we slide back down the hill. A roll, actually. Oh, there's a van. There's a pickup truck. The camp. Oh my God, she's still freaking doing that. I think this is the last year for this. I'm going to have to hide the buckets. That's hellish to get the snow off the deck with that junk on it. I know you ladies all think twice or different about that, but us men like to be practical. I'll give her the thumbs up. It makes her happy. You guys know how it works. She didn't like me parking here either. Oh well. Okay. And oh, my legs are stiff. Ooh. Lock it or lose it. Well, let's have a look-see to see what she's got going here now.
Yeah, I guess this is clean.
Just push it over the bank.
See, I did this one, I did this one, I did that one over there.
Hey, isn't that awful? Awesome?
Awful.
Oh, good. To let it snow goes in there. That's a good place for it.
Button the snow. Yeah. We're getting ready for winter. We're still working out front. We've got some nice days ahead, so probably got another week or so.
You done with that stick?
I think I'll keep that because that's a good size.
You keep it on your side of the bed.
Yeah. This is going to be cleaned up here.
Just push it over there, and we'll get it in the spring when the what.
They're not exactly the same size, but close enough.
I'll get something to pick that up with. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it for the video for today, folks. I got to go back to my other job. I have to care for this woman. Hey, goodbye.